Why Russia is arming this Arctic bay to the teeth. Why is this bay near Norway getting armed to the teeth? That seems more interesting.
At the center of a global race to dominate the Arctic.
Yeah.
From here, Russia...
This is what I want to talk about. The global race for the Arctic. Now that everything's melting, everyone wants to militarize and gain control of these new shipping lanes and all these rare earth minerals. That's a relevant discussion that is causing things to play. That's why Trump keeps talking about Greenland.
This is where Russia is storing part of the world's largest icebreaker fleet, designed to plow its way through melting Arctic ice.
Plow, flirt.
The Arctic is becoming very fast one of the most interesting places on the planet. Because of receding ice, there are more resources that people are eyeing to compete over.
I already said this. Okay, buddy, move on.
The assumption is that the potential for a conflict in the Arctic is likely to happen first outside the region and spill over to the region rather than we will see a clash of different countries in the Arctic.
Russia's Arctic...
Okay, wouldn't it be cool though if we had an actual Cold War in the cold? Like a Hoth type battle. I feel like we never had like a true Hoth. Yeah, I think we need to get Russian AT-ATs. We bring back that Norwegian White Death sniper guy. Finnish? He was Finnish. You're right. They're gonna be so mad at me. They love that guy. They're so mad at me. Getting that guy wrong? Oh my God, there's somebody with a sniper trained on me right now.
Russia wants to get to a point where if it feels threatened in its high north, it can react militarily. Obviously, that creates a whole bunch of new scenarios, both for Moscow and for the NATO neighbors that are right next door.
Damn, fuck them whales, I guess.
A whole bunch of new scenarios, both for Moscow and for the NATO neighbors.
What does Russia have against the whales?
Russia stores some of its nuclear-powered submarines here, which can be used to patrol icy waters and carry nuclear missiles.
Which of the three major powers is going to get Santa on their side? Because he already has an established base at the North Pole that would be a key base of operations for any military action. He gives you intelligence benefits, like he has knowledge of the region, he has spies in the form of elves. US, because of capitalism, I knew it was good for something.
And so what they're doing is really kind of building out this very integrated system of defenses to make sure that their nuclear-capable submarines really stay protected.
I know that I'm stupid on this front. I'll say it. I'll fully admit it. This is not a really well-developed line of thought. It's just funny to me how much all world militaries spend on around a war that, if happened, would kill everyone. The idea that like you need all these extra layers around nuclear submarines is so wild to me, because if you're using the nuclear submarines, it's over anyway. The existence of just one nuclear sub is kind of like half the battle, 90% of the battle. You know, Russia has the most nukes on Earth. They have more than America. They've got thousands. And so the idea that like we have to constantly build more defenses, it all just feels asinine to me. Even this lately, like Europe is militarizing like crazy. Every European country is talking about all the new spending they're going to do on the military, and all of it's done through debt. So all these countries, all these European countries, which are, by the way, you know, not exactly economically thriving either, are borrowing money to go build more military. And it's like, this doesn't go anywhere. I guess you build a military industry, maybe. That's one thing they're doing that makes some sense, but it all just feels wasteful, you know? And I understand that countries need to have some proactivity in their defense, and they can't ignore it. And there are actors that will take advantage of you not having the ability to protect power, but boy, does it seem wild. I mean, Russia is a country that is literally in an economic crisis. You know, they're in severe problems. They're locking up butter in the grocery stores. You're going to invest on a third layer of defense around your nuclear-powered submarines so you can protect the bay? Like, who's assaulting the bay with the nuclear-powered submarines unless they're willing to go to nuclear war? It all feels asinine to me, but I know there's more to it. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I want to put a new slogan to the world leaders of this world, and it's called subs, not subs. All of the billions of dollars you spend on nuclear underwater subs, you should spend on Twitch subs for great content creators. With enough subscribers, we could turn this world around. We could educate this world. We could unite and collect this community. I literally think if you had one less nuclear sub and turn that into Twitch subs, every streamer on Twitch could get like 50. Anywhere from $2 to $5 billion. How many streamers on Twitch? 7 million streamers. That's 400 subs per person. Everybody on Twitch gets 400 subs. Subs, not subs, folks. Or if you're feeling like super lame and not cool and not chill about it, I guess you could spend the money on substitute teachers or Subway sandwiches for the homeless. I mean, not nearly as cool as subscribers for a Twitch streamer, but I guess you could do those things. But of all 4 of those sub options, of all the 4 subs it could be, it feels like nuclear subs are the worst use of the money.
These icebreakers also need to sail in front of any cargo ships passing through the Northern Sea Route. This trade route between Asia and Europe is shorter than going through the Suez Canal, and it's been opening up more in recent years thanks to
Damn, it would be so fucking crazy if they didn't need the Suez Canal. That would actually change a lot, because so much of what goes on in the Middle East is around having geostrategic superiority in and around the Suez Canal.
Which is really interesting. There has been this cooperation growing between Russia and China in the Arctic. Russia was willing to put the Arctic card on the table, for instance, when Xi Jinping was visiting Moscow, and say that they are open to joint management of the Northern Sea Route. This is a big change.
Damn, I didn't know Xi Jinping towered over Putin like that. Russia's so little bro. They're little bro in every way. She looks alpha, dude.
On the trade front, Canada has said it wants to build infrastructure along its own Arctic trade route, the Northwest Passage, but it's still years away from becoming a reality.
Canadians standing outside with 2 aerosol cans spraying in the air so they can get the ice to melt faster, speeding up global warming so they can get a trade route that gets out of the United States. Hunting Russian spies in Norway's spy town. Are we sure it's not just a bunch of paranoid Norwegian people? Maybe it's just a boring town and they're all just want to have a little excitement in their life.
Beyond this fence here is Russian territory. The red and green post marks where Russian land begins. The black and yellow symbolizes Norway. Its proximity to Russia.
So if we stood right in the middle, we could make our own country, chat. And we could do whatever we want with no laws. And we're gonna have the wildest party in between Russia and Norway in Atriacville.
Elsewhere in the high north, Russians have embedded themselves deep in Norwegian society. Mikhail Mikushin claimed to be a Brazilian researcher named José Assis Maria.
Okay, fake name.
But while focusing on Arctic security at a university in Tromsø, he was actually
a guy named Mikhail pretending to be a Jose is pretty funny. I wouldn't buy it. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying nobody has, I just wouldn't buy it. I'll be honest, I wouldn't.
Mikushin was exchanged in a prisoner swap in 2024 and was greeted personally by Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Oh, shit.
Russian intelligence, what they're best at, that is using all forms of legitimate causes to exploit that in intelligence gathering. This is some of the port facilities. This is a deep...
God, it's so gray. It almost feels like there's a filter on it, but there's not. This is the price Norway has to pay for having the highest quality of life in the world and having a $300,000 per person sovereign wealth fund. This gray filter, dude. Wait till it's summer though. Wait, can we pause? I want to talk about this and the fact that Europe is literally, not figuratively, literally dying of air conditioning. They don't have it. As everything heats up, temperatures that are otherwise seemingly normal, they don't seem that crazy, are killing people. They're having summers where, it's 80 or 85 or whatever, and it's like, that's hot, don't get me wrong, but it's killing people in Europe. And listen, people are laughing like, how can they not handle it? It's not because they're physically different, although that's very funny. It's because the buildings there, first of all, having no AC, and also they're built to retain heat. Like, as the globe warms, cities like Rome, Madrid, Frankfurt, Barcelona, Athens, Lisbon, they're like ovens, dude. They're getting cooked with no AC. It's becoming like kind of a crisis in Europe in this is a heat wave summer. They have to find some way to change it. They can't really ignore it. And there are ways to add more AC that are energy neutral. There's like what are they specifically called? The air-to-air heat pumps. They can take care of the temperatures needed without burning gas. That could have negative net impact on emissions. There's gotta be something. You have to do something, even if you're going for a green solution, because what's happening, not even just the deaths. This chart is death rates, and the death rates are way up in heat waves in Athens, Barcelona, Frankfurt, but not just deaths. It's also this. Every degree you get above 73 Fahrenheit, your sleep efficiency goes way down, your sleep duration goes way down, your productivity goes way down, and the amount you can learn goes way down. If you're in a school where it's 74 degrees, you can't learn anymore. And it's already hard enough because everybody's brain rotted. It's actually like this mass paralyzing event. A heat wave in the summer in Europe is like everyone's sleep is wiped out. Everyone's productivity is wiped out. Nobody can get anything done. The continent is like, in some cases, slowing down. Yeah, it's just an interesting story that's happening now where the lack of AC infrastructure is becoming a consistent real problem. I talked about this on the Patreon of Lemonade Stand, by the way. And one quote I used is from Lee Kuan Yew, who is the guy that kind of like built Singapore into a thriving modern country out of like nothing, this used to be a rice field, you know? And he has a quote where he goes, 2 things made Singapore great. The first is our ability to manage a multi-ethnic democracy, our tolerance in a diverse society, and 2, air conditioning. That was his quote, dude. Because air conditioning is like a prerequisite in a hot area to getting everybody to just be able to perform. Without air conditioning, you can only work in the cool early morning hours or at dusk. The first thing I did upon becoming prime minister is to install air conditioners in buildings where civil service work. I like this guy because he's so pragmatic. Just being real about Europe, bro. They're gonna have to do it. We've been joking about it for a while. It's like, oh my God, people in the UK are melting down in 72-degree weather, 74-degree weather, but the buildings aren't built for it and something's gotta change.